My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Scorpios. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general love reading, your 5 card spread. But before I do that, I want to offer these 12 red roses as a token of my love and appreciation for your love, support, and devotion towards my channel. And thank you so much for joining me today as well. So, this 5 card love reading includes where the first card represents you, the second, the other person, the third, the relationship, the fourth, the past, and fifth, the future. Then I'm going to draw a Vampire Oracle for you, and then a Favole, and 1 card from the French tarot deck of Le Tarot Interdit Vampiria. And goodness, you get one of your beautiful cards, a fixed card next to Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus. Okay. Well, as the saying goes, the world is your oyster. I think I even mentioned in one of your previous love readings that you pretty much have so many eyes and options focused on you. You pretty much have like this beautiful luxury to actually choose who you want to be with in other ways. Or maybe you can have many relationships. I mean, of course, it's like back in my time, everything was practically possible. Having mistresses and always kind of having, different types of like, guys in your life and stuff like that. I mean, the thing was is, it's like everybody always, believed in marriage and stuff like that, but you knew, deep down inside that, well, whether it was your own parents or your own friends or your own acquaintances that pretty much already, just kind of, had, relationships outside of marriages for that matter, in other ways. But anyway, either, you're the one in a singlehood embarking on this new love journey, or maybe you're in a courtship phase and, you're pretty much, out in this world, getting out and taking action, doing whatever it takes and stuff like that. I mean, I did come across an interesting thing about Scorpios is how they consider you a fire sign. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you consider yourself a very passionate fire sign? Now, of course, water is definitely your element, but of course you don't have to be an Aries or Leo or Sagittarius just to be this very passionate and fiery individual. But of course, I just kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about that. But of course, it's like you could also just be in a real singlehood position and maybe you just love suitors and, just, courtships, and maybe you just think, okay, I'll just leave it at that. I'm not really up in for any kind of commitment right now, because right now I just want to focus on my career. I just want to do whatever I want to do right now, but I do love just courtships, datings, flings. I mean, I have no idea what a fling is, if you even know what those things are called, because a human occasionally and it gives me a couple of these modern day sayings and stuff like that. Let's see who the other person is or could be. The Magician. Virgo, Gemini energy. Aha. You see, this person has his or her eyes focused on you. And that's kind of what I see, from one angle, is that this person pretty much will do whatever it takes to be with you. This person is manifesting some kind of love connection, ritual, love potion, whatever it may be in other ways. But it could also be that you're the one that's also going to be manifesting something as well. And so that could be another angle, is where you're pretty much out in this world trying to find true love, courtship, whoever you're pretty much trying to find and stuff like that. And you're the one that's also putting a lot of time and effort by wanting to manifest something regarding any kind of love or romance as well. So, I mean, maybe you're actually going back to school. Maybe you're trying to apply for a really good job so you can actually, because it's like how that other saying goes, if you build it, they will come. And that's the thing, if you do a lot of self-development, self-healing, self-care, self-nurturing, like any kind of like new beginnings for that matter, that draws a lot of eyes towards you, because, if you're in the making, if you're in the development of some kind, people are still intrigued by anything that's going to come, to say what's actually going to be the end result of this person's game or goal in their life, right? So, okay, relationship is 3 of Swords. Why did this card have to show up? Well, sometimes it's inevitable and stuff like that. But what I mostly get here is that maybe, it's like you could be manifesting a breakup or a divorce. Or you could also be just thinking, okay, I've been through this breakup and stuff like that. Now I'm going to head out and I'm going to be manifesting a different outcome for myself. Or even, just, manifesting a healing or anything that's going to actually be benefiting me. Because heartbreak is very painful. You see how much, this poor girl is just really suffering in this hospital. I mean, of course, I find this picture kind of a bit unusual, because transfusions would definitely be benefiting, like, especially women, right? I mean, if you even want to look at one of my past videos about the history of blood and Elizabeth Bathory and stuff like that. But anyway, 3 of Swords is 3 of Swords, and it's painful. So you could be actually, maybe you are actually, manifesting something and it could potentially lead towards a heartbreak of some kind as well. Or you could also be heading out and away from, this heartbreak and thinking, I'm going to manifest a different outcome and just, I'm going to be, creating something way better for myself. Because I feel like that nobody should ever be suffering in their lives in any way, because I've suffered. Now, I mean, not only was everything predestined and pre-made for me, because if you even get a chance to watch one of my previous videos about the casket girls, I want to know what your thoughts are on that, topic, because, it's like how, a lot of humans, especially, back in the 18th century, I mean, how I was practically turned into a vampire for that matter. The thing is, I was actually talking to my human familiar, and he was actually just saying, well, isn't it actually kind of tragic what happened to those 5 girls in the attic and stuff like that? And I said, of course it's tragic. You're being locked up. You're being, just, cast away, saying, stay away, you evil creature, you. And I just think, well, these girls probably didn't choose to become vampires, or maybe even get classified as being vampires, or maybe they weren't even vampires at all. But that's why all these now fiction stories, about the casket girls and about how some of these historians and authors, like especially in New Orleans or even in France for that matter, are pretty much creating all these vampiric stories. But other than that, I just wonder what you actually think about that, because in your past, you got 6 of Pentacles. Now, you could have been with somebody who was very loving and caring and supportive and nurturing and pretty much did a lot of give and take. But it could also have been just you doing a lot of self-healing, self-care, and self-nurturing in other ways. Your senses and intuition were mostly also supporting you, because maybe you actually did get hit with heartbreak somewhere in the past as well. And this is where you're pretty much manifesting a healing's moment for yourself. And healing is really crucial for anything. I mean, even if you want to look at my history of Bathory, video or story and stuff like that, blood is very healing. So I'm so surprised whoever designed this card, to see these blood transfusions. I mean, it would more or less make sense to find 3 stakes in a vampire, right? Because blood transfusions are supposed to be very healing and beneficial. So, but anyway, I never created these cards. But other than that, it just, first it looked very promising, and maybe you ended up in a real negative relationship in the end as well. And maybe that's why you're pretty much heading back out into this world, or heading away, wanting to manifest a healing or a different outcome or a different relationship as well. Because speak of another fixed sign, Leo, you get Queen of Wands in the future. Okay, so I do see confidence and strength within yourself. I see, you're going to be in a very bold, maybe luxurious position. Maybe you're going to get some really good compensation from this heartbreak, from maybe a justice, is going to be on your side in other ways. But there's definitely, this Leo 9 trait, and maybe you are breaking up from a Leo. Maybe you are courting a Leo. Maybe you're in love with a Leo. Maybe you have Leo 9 traits in other ways. But anyway, the Queen of Wands will be in your future either way. Because Oracle says call for help, reach out, need for backup, and admit your needs. And that's the thing, it's like with anything, if you want to start manifesting, sometimes it's actually good to reach out to family and friends for support. Not saying that everybody needs that, but when you have really good friends, family, siblings who are really loving, caring, and understanding, sometimes they could really help you out in so much healing possible. I mean, this could be a really good friend of yours or a family member, whoever it may be, that's saying, okay, you just got your heart broken, so now I'm going to be, metaphorically, nursing you back to health with this, or taking good care of your personal needs till you're back on your confidence level, which I do see in the future as well with the Queen of Wands. So, what does Favole have? Queen of Crosses, also known as Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles is mostly talking about how you're going to be probably in a hardworking position, what's called the hardworking mother, but of course gender doesn't mean anything to me, or any to my cards as well. But this card is going to actually will help you, and will gain a sense of realistic expectations. Your reality is finally going to come to terms. You're going to be in a very stable, grounded, secure environment in the end. So maybe it's always good to kind of reach out to your friends and family should you be experiencing any kind of heartbreak, have gone through a divorce or breakup, or any kind of conflict or fight. Sometimes you do need to go to a place of healing, so you could actually re-energize and regenerate, to actually find your sense of confidence in your personal well-being at least in the future somewhere again. Okay, so Le Tarot Interdit Vampirium wants to finish off with Cavalier de Cavalier d'Épée. So this is kind of like the Page of Swords of having this outgoings card again. And that's kind of like with any kind of like healing and recovery, you know, you need to rest, you need to actually eat well, you know, take good care of yourself and stuff like that so you can actually go back out on the metaphorical hunt or any kind of journey again. Because just like the Page of Swords, unlike this card, or the Page of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, or the Page of Cups, it's all about going out on this journey. You know, and I do see you manifesting something in current time. So whatever you're going to be manifesting, it's going to pretty much enhance the sense of confidence, and you're pretty much going to, you know, walk away from any kind of heartbreak because the world is practically still your oyster. And even in, you know, it's like even though, you know, any kind of readings of mine don't actually, you know, will correlate or transition, you know, to each other, I did notice in your past, you know, or in a previous love reading that you do have eyes focused on you. So the world is pretty much still open for you either way. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to leave it at that for now for, you know, for the love reading for today. But if this reading, you know, resonated for Scorpios out in this world, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you guys all for joining me today. I love you guys incredibly. In a few days, I'm going back to general readings, so for now, I'm just doing love in general. If you're open to a personal reading, please feel free to reach out, and we'll post in the comment section below that you want a personal reading from me, and I'll respond to you with my email. But if you're interested, please feel free to browse through the different types of prices for personal readings on this project page web link that I have on my YouTube channel. But other than that, again, thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys incredibly, and best of luck on where this journey may take you, and happy healing if you need it.